Hi everyone, how you all doing? I hope you're doing well. Well, I got back, had the operation on Monday, and everything went swimmingly well. Surprise, surprise. Because I was expecting things not to go too well, because I was preparing myself for the worst. But it ain't a bad thing to prepare yourself for the worst, because anything else will be a plus, won't it? Be a bonus. So I'm thankful for my surgeon, for everything that he told me about what could happen but didn't happen. But one thing he did tell me, and I found it absolutely fascinating regarding the operation, was once the hernia is pushed back up the tube and then they put that netting over it to stop it dropping down again into the lower region, you're left with a space. And your body and your blood cells, they see a space. And at first, they don't really know what to do because there wasn't a space there before because it was occupied with the hernia that was and your intestines that were pushing down. And they got used to that for nearly 2 years with me. But now they see a space. And at first, they send soldiers out to investigate. This is so fantastic about the body. And this is why I'll always be a creationist and never will I ever be an atheist. But they send these soldiers out and they investigate this new space. And then they decide what to do. Now, they could do something that could cause you harm. They could substitute that space with maybe an internal organ from another location and relocate it. They could push it into that space, which is not what you want. Now, this can happen over a period of 2 or 3 days. And then after that 2 or 3 day period, when they've sent the soldiers out, they've investigated, they've reported back, they come to the conclusion that it's best to be left alone and it is perfectly natural. But on some occasions, it can go wrong and they will substitute that space with something in your body that can cause you harm. Now, luckily, that didn't happen to me. So I'm grateful, but if truth was known, I wouldn't have minded not waking up. It is a lovely feeling to be laughing and joking with the anaesthetic team, making them laugh about, World War III that's to come, the Great Tribulation that's to come, and having a real laugh with them about this, about the crisis of the National Health Service that are likely to go on strike, and the complete shutdown of man's system. And I had a real laugh with them about this. I was able to mention it, but I was sort of doing it in a tongue-in-cheek fashion, as if I was not going to be there to see the disastrous results of where man is going. And I think they saw the funny side of that. And that's why I said to them, I really don't care if I don't wake up. I really couldn't give a rat's at this stage. I'd like not to wake up, to have to come back in Satan's system and then go back to doing a drudgery job, although I do like my job, so I can't really say it is drudgery because I do like being an engineer, but I'm still a slave, as we all are. So it was refreshing for me to get all that heavy load off my mind and off my subconscious and everything, and you just let it all pour out while I'm lying on my back and they're putting on, is it called the decapitator? I can't think if that's the name of it, where they put the small needle in and that monitors you, and then they put something on your feet and that monitors you. Now, I remember they said, this is just oxygen, Martin, that we're going to put on your face now. This says only oxygen, and it was. And for at least 8 minutes, I'd say it was oxygen. But while we're having all this tomfoolery and my sense of humour spilling out into the anaesthetic room, all of a sudden, that was it. So while I was thinking, I was, not about to go under the effects of anaesthetic, and I was only breathing, it must have been on some kind of timed interval, the bottle. And after a period of time, it automatically switches over to the anesthetic. And I think that's what's happened. And it was a beautiful feeling. It was a marvelous feeling to just not remember nothing. Although you're aware that you're going to be taken through that next room and they're going to cut you open and they're going to do what they have to do. But you're not going to see any of that because, as far as all intents and purposes, I suppose you could say you're as close to death at that point as you'll ever be, barring the body decomposing and going back to the dust, which is not likely to happen, is it, until, the rigor mortis part of death sets in. But just to be comatized and to be pulled out is as close as I can recall to being nothing, having no thoughts. And I don't believe I did do any dreaming. If I said anything in the theatre that was, anything came out of my mouth, they never said anything to me about it. If that happened, I'd never know. And I was in discomfort, and I was in a little bit of pain, but not excruciating pain. I don't like pain. Who likes pain? I mean, it's painful enough, isn't it? At times, just sort of stumbling along and waiting for things to improve. That's painful. Sometimes I think the most pain a person can have is anticipation, and not the actual clinical process of completely knocking you out. It's that lead up period. I think me and Random Green, we spoke about this, and we both agree that if we die suddenly, no matter if it was, say, the Great Tribulation and we died really quickly, we'd want that. We wouldn't want the anticipation period or the lead up period and then the starvation and seeing people around you die first, and then that that's likely to happen to you next. So give me a quick death anytime. But I am thankful, yeah. So I received the best of nursing care. So I don't have anything bad to say about those that took care of me. My cousin Stephen, who's an agnostic, but knows everything about my Jehovah's Witness background from me being a little boy. Him and his wife nursed me. She gave up her flat, which is really close to his, and she moved in with him for 3 or 4 days while I had her flat, all on the ground floor with a walk-in shower, all that kind of thing, just beautiful. And they did me food, and they just looked after me because my mum couldn't, because she just got to an age where it'd just be too much for her. But I'm seeing my mum tomorrow, and that'll be a good thing. She's making me a special tea. The relationship between me and my mother is very well. I don't think that's going to ever change. And I don't think I'll ever change. I don't think I'll ever become a really nasty XJW. I don't think that's in my makeup to be like that. I just like to get on with most people, There are obviously some people that are very difficult to get on with, but I don't mind making a bit of an effort even with them as well. So there you go, people. I'm just reporting back to you that I have no reason to complain about anything in my life because I'm doing very well. And once I get on to that complete road to recovery, and I'm back doing my job, and I'm back earning a lot of money again, and I'm back being a materialistic bastard and being a slave in Satan's system, it'll just be like normal. What I've done for the last, since 1980, when I started my working life. See y'all. I'll see you again shortly as well. Bye-bye.